Okay, let's get started then. See if I can move out of here and not be bound. I like to walk around a little bit. Oh, not going. Okay. You're going to have to you're going to have to be the mouse then. Okay, let's stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do we have any guests tonight? Okay, how about new members? We have a new member tonight? We must not be doing our job if we don't have a new member. Come on, guys. No new members? Oh, good. There you go. Thank you for renewing. That's wonderful. Thank you. Oh, you've got okay, keep going. Okay, Mary Burns, you are our volunteer of the month. Mary does a wonderful job. She works diligently on our meeting night, getting everything all set up. And last month, with Debbie gone, she organized everything, made sure that everything ran beautifully. So thank you very much, Mary. And you always do it so cheerfully. Wonderful smile. You're welcome. You do a wonderful job. Oh, hey, you throw money away, just give to me. I'll take it. Okay.
You ready for it? The favorites of the month is a new program called Canva. And you're able to make a lot of different things, a lot of templates. This right here is one of the things that we made. Took us about 5 minutes to make. It looks very nice and professional. And the club decided that we're going to start doing the certificates. Mary, show them the certificate, how nice it looks. Model it for us, please. Turn around so everyone can see it.
What does that sign say?
We want you to volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers. If you need help, I'll help you. But if you can do it on your own, fine. We can always need volunteers in the office, especially this time of year. Everybody seems to want to go on vacation for some reason. We're in vacation land 12 months a year, but it is. But if anyone has some free time and would like to spend time at our office helping us out, please stop by the office and give someone their name and we'll contact you. And just remember, you don't have to be a computer whiz. We have a lot of office work and tearing down a lot of things that we need help with. And thank you in advance.
Yeah, we have a small business that we run that doesn't make any money, but we have a small business we run. And with your membership, you are getting a lot of the benefits up, 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 up. We're trying something new tonight. I'm not controlling well, okay, let's stop here. Let's stop there. Okay, we talked about all the things that we do. And in the office, we've, every time you bring a computer in and you leave it overnight for us to work on, that's our in-office service ticket. And we have done 107 of those since the first of the year. In our walk-in tech support, and this includes, phone calls, asking us questions about things that that you just stop in for, or you come in and you spend the whole day with us for us to work on your computer and you work beside us. That's a walk-in technical support. Some of those are, 5 or 10 minutes, and some of those are all day long. So that 280, we're slowing down a little bit. But then last week when I was in, we had, let's see, we had, I had 3 phone calls that I answered questions on. We had about 5 other walk-ins that spent a long time, and then we had 2 or 3 other walk-ins that just spent a few minutes to ask questions. So that's a lot of activity. Today it was really slow. We didn't have much of anything going on. So, but if we average things out, we've done about 280 in-office support tasks where you're not leaving your computer overnight. We're just doing it either over the phone or technical support while you're sitting there. In our refurbishing department that Lydia is in charge of, we have completed 84 computers, rebuilding of computers this year, and we've delivered 72 of those. Our membership is now sitting at 357 plus whatever renewals we had tonight. So thank you very much. And we talked about the volunteers. We always need, how are we doing on the table setup? Do we need people to help us with the table setup? That's something that I think is probably the biggest key. Gary, I know that you had volunteered to help out. Can you work with Debbie to see if you can get a couple of other strong bodies to recruit a couple of strong bodies to help us out on meeting night? That would be nice. And you wouldn't have to be here all the time. It would just be that you have 2 or 3 of you that have volunteered and you're kind of honchoing the thing to say, do we have people covered? I would appreciate that. Okay, front desk, these are the people that greet you and answer the phone, they answer the email, they take your requests, they identify who should be working on something to get your question resolved. We have in-office technical support. That's Harold does in-office technical support. I do. George does. Fran does when he's in town. He's out now, but there's several of us that do it. Mark has also been helping some in the office with the support, and he also has taken some things home to work on, as I have, and I'm sure George has also in the past. Computer refurbishing and tear down, that's Lydia's area, and it's basically taking the thing apart and putting it back together and upgrading it while we're doing it. Instructors, presenters, we always need people to instruct on topics. Mark has started doing some of the classes for us. I do one a month on the second Tuesday of each month. Rose does, beginners Windows, and then Apple products. And I support basically Windows applications, Office applications, some photo imaging applications. I also can help people with Android phones and iPhones and iPads and other Android tablets and so forth. But, it's just depends on the question, and one of us can help you in one way or another. Okay. I keep reaching for something to click on. Okay, and we talked about the benefits. One of the benefits, this beautiful machine over here, it's Windows 11. It has 16 gigabytes of memory. It's a fast processor, and someone's going to go home with a really beautiful computer tonight. If we were selling that in the office, $50 is what we typically will ask for a desktop. This one is really robust in what it has, so this one is worth quite a bit more than that. Okay. Okay, going back to Canva, we talked about what it is, and that presentation or the award was using Canva, but it's a way of easily finding a way to design an application, or excuse me, a calendar or an award or a gift card or whatever, and they have all kinds of templates, business templates, marketing templates, social media templates. There's a blog that you can ask questions on, and they respond to different questions. They have some tutorials and so forth. So check it out. Do you want to go to the website? Well, we can. No, I'm not signed into it, but I've got a link on it.
Okay.
But it depends on what you want to do. If you don't want to, okay. If you want to do that, we can do that in one of our training sessions, like next Tuesday from 2 to 4. Our office is open 10 to 2, so 2 to 4 is the class. We have it both in the office and on Zoom. And if you want to learn more about this, and I've never used it, but George has, and if he volunteers to come and train on it, I'm sure that we could have your. There you go. Yep, that would be a good way to do it. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this over to Gary, because we are now at the point of the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Good evening to you. And, we're talking about the skill set of people here, and I've got a skill set as well too. And it's not about computers. Okay, if you have any real questions, you ask somebody else, you don't answer me. But one of the things I can do is to try to set up programs that will be of interest and useful to you. But part of it too is you all have to help, because I know you all carry skills and experiences from your life. That's why you're here sitting and watching others. But if I would love to have the opportunity to sign you up to do a program some evening as well too. So if you have anything, don't be scared of it. It takes little guts to stand up, but you know what? You get through it. Anyway, for this evening, the program is something that's probably dear to the hearts and maybe the wrists to a lot of us. I just have a Walmart cheapie on my wrist, but there's a lot of technical capability. The program tonight is how wearable technology will improve your health. Just kind of give you a little bit of a preview as far as perhaps future presentations, problems with emails coming up. And here's one close to my heart. What did you say? Huh? I wear hearing aids, so it should be an interesting program. In a couple months, we'll put that on. Mark has volunteered to do a cutting the cord presentation. I know we're all glued to TV sets these days, or whatever you want to call it. It's hardly like in the days that I remember. We had 3 channels and one clunk, 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 and that was it. And at 9 o'clock, the national anthem would come on, and that was the end of it. So I go back a few years. Now, if you really want to get some brain cells churning, has some potential programs coming up at a later point. Actually, not enough time to do all these. How about the promise of quantum computers? How to build synthetic DNA and send it over the internet. Does that grab you? Can we build artificial intelligence without losing control? The era of personal DNA testing is here. It really is here. And here's a good one too, a brain implant that turns your thoughts into text. I just hope people can't tune into my text of what they're looking at. Anyway, for tonight, we'll go into the discussion or the presentations, how wearable technology will improve your health.
Oh, on that last item about the implantables, I used to work with a fellow. He didn't have an implantable, but he had a special device on his head because he was not very mobile, and his screen was like this big when the rest of us had like 12-inch screens, and he had like a 30-inch screen, but he'd have to get about 2 inches from it so he could see it. But he could use his brain waves to type and to and this was back in late 80s, early 90s.
It's Ron Brown
A
with
while ago. So the technology is not brand new, guys, but it's just now becoming feasible for the general public to climb on board.
Tech for Seniors. Today I'd like to talk to you about how wearable technology will improve your health in 2021. Now I have a big announcement for you, so please stay tuned until the end of the video. Let's get on with it. Most of you probably
Grover,
know me from
turn that
Tech
up
for
just a little
Seniors,
bit, please?
but in another life I was actually a physician, and I looked after people for about 35 years. So about 3 years ago, I decided to make a presentation on saving your life with wearable technology. It went over pretty well, and I've given this presentation to over 100 different clubs and organizations. It was so popular, I did part 2, and this year, because of the changes I'm going to talk about today, I will be doing part 3. I've had many testimonials from people email me or writing me back saying that they followed my advice in the video and it saved their life or prevented serious medical complications. So it's a good video. You should watch it, and I'll drop the link in the show notes. Let's look at the changes that are occurring in 2021. Now this is a slide I used in my 2019 presentation. In this slide, I want to point out that wearable technology is big business. It is a lot of money is going to be spent on wearable technology. And there's 2 things in this slide I want you to look at. This was a slide that indicated the wearable technology shipments for the 3rd quarter of 2019. And there's 2 things, 2 takeaway messages. The first is that although smartwatches are popular, the earwear actually was 40.7%, and the smartwatch volume was 17.6%. And this is of all shipments of those devices, not just with Apple, but worldwide. But the most important thing I want you to look at is the total shipments in that quarter was 84.5 million devices. All right, now let's look fast forward to today, and this is a different slide, but this is the 4th quarter of 2020. And I want you to look at the bottom of the graph here, and you'll see that the total number of shipments now are 153 million, doubled in 2 years. Now, in the graph, you also see that Apple now is about just over half of all worldwide shipments of wearable technology. Now, Apple doesn't divide it out into earbuds versus watches, but they did indicate in the article that about 50% of the sales of their wearable technology were related to their watches. So it is big business. These devices perform many tasks, but in this short video today, we're going to focus on cardiac monitoring, specifically electrical problems within the heart. Now, your heart has a main electrical trunk line coming in that provides power to the heart. And just as in your house, it has a circuit breaker panel. In fact, your heart has 2 circuit breaker panels. So in this diagram, you'll see the main trunk line coming in to the first circuit breaker panel. Now, this panel can actually fail as you get older. Just like you have your eyes and you have cataracts, you have joint replacement, you get your knee and your hip replaced. This particular circuit breaker can fail. Now, if it fails in the closed position, you don't get any electrical impulses to your heart, and it stops. This is a slide that shows a terrible accident where people were killed. And in this situation, probably what happened is the driver was driving along and lost consciousness. This is an example where your heart slows to a very, very slow rate. And guess what? You might need a pacemaker to keep it going. What is the incidence of this happening to you? Well, if you look in the slide here, you'll see that if you are over the age of 60 and you look at this graph, you'll see the incidence of pacemaker 1 failure in the over 60 age group. And look at the graph going up. Let's go back to the diagram again. Let's take a look at our circuit breaker. What happens if it fails in the open position? Then your heart speeds up and it goes too fast, and you may get into a situation such as this, which is atrial fibrillation. Atrial fibrillation is a major cause of stroke. Let's look again at the diagram here, and you'll see again, if you are 60, you'll see, look at the graph of the incidence of atrial fibrillation. It is the same graph. So it is so important to know if your heart is going too slow or too fast. And the 3 smartwatches we're going to mention today all have cardiac monitoring enabled. And these will actually all be approved by the FDA as a level 2 medical device. Let me explain this. If you look at the devices we're going to talk about today, they've had to go through stringent requirements and be approved as a level 2 medical device with the federal FDA. Now, this means it's the same as if you had an anesthetic machine or an ECG in a hospital. These all have been certified to be able to measure your pulse and detect atrial fibrillation. If you look at the second item on the slide, you'll see blood pressure recording. Well, the Samsung Galaxy 3 watch actually can measure your blood pressure. Not quite in the United States yet. It's been approved in South Korea, and it is on the approval waiting list in the United States, which should be this summer approved, so you'll be able to measure your blood pressure. Again, this is an FDA-approved device which measures accurate blood pressure. Now, fall detection and oxygen sensing are not FDA approved. In fact, there's no regulation or standards on those. So that makes the results fairly suspect. But the big announcement today is diabetic blood sugar monitoring on your watch. This is huge. And it's really going to change the way we look at these devices. Right now, the big input for these devices is through industry. One of the concerns that I've had is patients tell me that have got these devices, they go to their doctor and the doctor says, what is this? They don't understand the technology because this technology is being driven by industry. When we move into the next phase of these watches, which is going to be extremely popular with bloodless blood sugar monitoring, you're going to see this will be an integral part of diabetes management and also will be incorporated very quickly into the medical education program that we teach doctors. So let's have a look at this. Now, these are the 3 smartwatches that do cardiac monitoring and have been FDA approved. Apple has been out of the gate first with the Apple Watch. This has been available for cardiac monitoring since Series 4. They're now in Series 6. Apple is truly committed to the global market, and they have gone to all the countries around the world and have had the software for cardiac monitoring approved by the equivalent of the FDA. Clearly, they are the leaders, but the amount of money being spent now is so huge, Samsung and Google are coming up pretty quick. The second watch is with cardiac monitoring is made by Samsung, and this is the Galaxy Watch 3. This watch is a great watch, but has had problems because, of course, when it was initiated, it was launched into the United States, the cardiac monitoring hadn't been approved by the FDA. Today, in the news, there was the leaked document, and the Galaxy Watch 4 will be released this year, and it will indeed have cardiac monitoring, blood pressure monitoring, and blood sugar monitoring all pre-approved and ready to go out of the box. Pretty interesting, and it just came out this morning. The third watch with cardiac monitoring is the Fitbit Sense. Now, as you probably remember, Fitbit was bought last year by Google for $2.1 billion, and they're really changing the Fitbit line of watches into health monitoring devices. Again, this is a really big business, so you're seeing big changes occur. This is the watch that I own. I did a video on this called The Misunderstood Fitbit Sense. And the reason is because this philosophy on this watch works a bit different. I didn't like it initially and was going to take it back and get my money back. And then when I realized how it does work, it's fine. And I made this video that has had just under 20,000 views. So these are the 3 watches that have cardiac monitoring. And let's look at what's coming up. So this is an article that came out on the Wire Service in January of 2020, a little over a year ago. And this was a research article on a group of people from the Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology, or SAIT, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT. And this group of people was able to use a piece of equipment to measure blood sugar without touching any bodily fluids. They were actually able to measure it through the skin. No body fluid contact. Never been done before. I immediately knew the significance of this article. This is going to change the way we practice medicine. Watch what's going to happen now. They use this piece of equipment called a Raman spectroscopy to measure blood sugar accurately through the skin without any contact with bodily fluid. Well, it's just a matter of time before you can take this piece of equipment and you can make it smaller and fit it into a watch. And I predicted that this would take about a year or 2, and you're now seeing that it's coming. Both the Apple Watch Series 7, which is going to be out this year, has strongly been rumored that it's going to be bringing its blood sugar measuring capability, and of course the leaked document this morning with the Samsung Galaxy 4. So this is coming. There's also been some patents from no-name brands that are trying to get in as well. So we're seeing a lot of activity, and I am so excited because this is going to change the way we manage diabetes. Let's look at that. So let's look at the staggering costs of diabetes. There are 30 million Americans with diabetes, and the cost of this is $327 billion. So let's look at this closely. All right, let's look at the costs on this. The cost of diabetes monitoring with testing strips is about $1,000 a year. Diabetics have to measure their their blood sugar with glucometers, which involve testing strips. Then there's the initial purchase of the machine. Now, if we look at this about, let's look at 30 million people, and you have about $1,000 a year for 30 million people. That's $30 billion in that year. Now, remember, these are consumable items, and that is over a 3-year period going to be what I calculate as $90 billion. Let's look at let's take the Apple Watch as our diabetic management, and that would be $400 for 30 million people, and that's about $12 billion. Now that's going right into Apple, right? But that's a fixed cost over 3 years. So if you take 90 over a 3-year period, what's the cost to the insurance company and the general public? If you take 90 minus 12, there's a savings of $78 billion. This truly is the Holy Grail. Now, I'm an old guy. When I graduated from medical school, we didn't have glucometers. We measured diabetes by measuring your urine, or occasionally we did finger prick to measure your blood sugar. I saw the whole technology of glucometers come in. First of all, we only used them for very severe cases, and then they became a gold standard for the treatment of diabetes. This is what we're dealing with now with the new technology for measuring blood sugar with your watch, and it's a pretty exciting time, and it's going to make a big change in how we practice medicine, and certainly for those people making the equipment, it's going to make people a lot of money. It's the Holy Grail. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. How wearable technology will improve your health in 2021.
About 6 months ago, I bought a Samsung Watch 4 for my husband. And the reason why I bought it was for fall detection. He's very unstable on his feet. He falls frequently. When he falls, he tears up his arms and his legs. And the last time he fell, well, maybe not the last time he fell, but a year ago, July the 2nd, he fell and he tore his leg up. It was 17.5 inches long and about 4.5 inches wide, and a deep cut, and it's still not healed. 340 days, and it still isn't healed completely. So I want to protect him from when he falls. First thing the watch does is it'll beep and it'll turn a siren on, and he can touch it and he can turn that off. If he doesn't do it within so many seconds, then it sends me a text message and a phone message, and see if I will answer. And if I don't answer, then it'll call 911. So yes, it's very much worth it. So, and because he won't carry his phone around, so it had to be not a Bluetooth watch. It had to be a cellular watch so that he can make phone calls on it, because that's the only way he's going to carry around a phone, is I put it on his wrist. So that was another reason for getting him the watch. So it is, I think, an important device, and will become more and more important as time goes on. And for those people with health issues, or even those who just want to monitor their health, it's great. And my simple watch that I have on is like a $40 watch from Amazon, and it does tell me what my sleep rhythms are and so forth, and how much, whether I'm getting good sleep and deep sleep and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't do a whole lot more. But his watch does significantly more. So I do highly recommend it. Okay, next thing on the agenda, let's have a drawing for the gift, the door prize. So where are the tickets? Is that No, well, which one is which though? Yeah.
And hello, okay, as a final to what Mary said, what you and I can do when this thing comes up for legislation, write to your congressmen, senators, and everyone to see if Medicare could take care of the watch. It would, like she said, it would save them $78 billion. And it would make everybody a lot safer. So the one thing we can do is talk to our representatives and see if we can get this thing passed.
The watch that you purchase will be very much dependent upon what ecosystem you are married to. If you have an iPhone, you're going to want an Apple Watch. If you are in the Android ecosystem, then you have a couple of options. If you have a Samsung, I would highly recommend the Samsung watch. And currently it's 4. In October, the Watch 5 should be out. And it had, the rumors are that there are going to be some significant changes in that, including body temperature, measuring your body temperature. So that's something that no one else is offering. Now, if you have another Android device like Google Pixel or something else, then the Fitbit might be a really good option for you. They are all maturing at this point into a level that it really is going to come down, I think, more to the ecosystem and your preference on what you want to see on your wrist than probably the functions of that particular watch itself, because they don't all work together. If you have an Android and you buy an Apple Watch, it's not going to work. If you buy an Android watch, it's not going to work with Apple. It's not going to work with the iPhone or iPad. So you want to marry it to the ecosystem that your other mobile technology is in. If you have both, if you have an Android and iOS, then you've got some options, and it really depends on which you prefer. That's part of the question. Yeah. Excuse me. These watches, for the most part, have hardware capabilities that are built in, and they will pair with another application on your phone. So like in my case, I've got a very basic Android watch, but it has an application on my phone that it pairs with. And so if I want to see what my sleep numbers are and how many steps and all that, it downloads it to the phone. Now I can pick up my, my steps and so forth on here, but most of the information that I would want to look at would be in the app that comes up on the phone. One thing I found is that if I've had a sleepless night, I can look at the app and I can tell, it says I only got 20 minutes of good sleep. And I said, yeah, that's what I feel like. But if I have 2 hours of good sleep, I'm feeling great. That doesn't mean that those are the only hours I'm in bed and sleeping. It just means that that's my deep sleep. So it tells you when you're fully awake. It tells you when you have light sleep and when you have deep sleep. Some of them tell you when you have REM sleep as opposed to deep or light, but all of them, will track in some way or another and will help you um, kind of figure out why you're not feeling as good today as you did yesterday or whatever. The other thing is that, there, go back to YouTube again and you'll see different sites that will tell you the functions of the watches. Right now, like I said, they're maturing to a point where I don't think that there's that kind of significant difference there was a few years ago. 2 or 3 years ago, they were substantially different and everybody was trying a new thing. Now, one is looking at the other and saying, "Oh, you have it. I'm going to have it too." And that's kind of what it is. Like on the Samsung watch that my husband has, it has body mass index too. It'll measure your body mass, just from your wrist. We haven't used it, but it's on there. We can do it if we want to. My husband, if he has to look around for a way to work out something, he's not going to use it. So we have to keep it pretty simple as far as functionality and so forth, or what he has to do to make something work. Another thing is, you want to look at battery life. The battery life on most of the smartwatches is not really good. This one, I can go 3 or 4 days on this particular one, but it doesn't do a whole lot. On his, he has to charge it every day at some point in the day. But if he doesn't wear it overnight, then he doesn't get his sleep statistics. So what he'll do is when he's sitting there doing solitaire and other things on his computer, he will put his watch on the charger and then he'll put it on his wrist and he'll wear it the rest of the day and overnight so that he has those statistics. But the life of most of the smart watches that are very powerful is like, well, they'll last 18 to 20 hours. Most of them will not last over, a full 24 hours. This one, I can get 2 or 3, 4 days out of it. But then when I see it's getting low, I just put it on the charger for a couple of hours while I'm watching TV, and then I put it back on and I'm good for a while. And it depends on what you need. If all you need is a step counter and you don't want to carry, have your phone in your pocket while you're walking all the time, then that's a good alternative. And it also has, there are other exercise programs. Samsung is especially good at all the different exercise programs. They'll do push-ups and sit-ups and all kinds of crunches and all this stuff. And you set it for the program that you want to exercise to, and it'll time you and do a relaxation time and a speed up time and back and forth and so forth for whatever kind of program you want. And they have like 50 different activities. I mean, in addition to just biking and walking and running, they have, mountain climbing and all kinds of other stuff. I'm not going to do any of that. And my watch certainly doesn't do that, but it does check a heart rate, and it does check my steps, and it checks my sleep. And all I need is something that tells time, and I can roll my wrist and it comes on. My husband's watch will do an always on display, so it fades out a little bit to keep the battery life up. But if he just looks at it or taps it, it'll show, or it'll always have something on there. And then if he raises his wrist, it'll come up brighter. So what kinds of things would you like to do with a wearable? Yeah. And yeah. Sure. They can. I would not use it as my primary source, but it certainly will alert you that you are having some issues. And some of them now are actually gearing toward being a diagnostic tool for that. But it's a little early, I think, as far as depending on that as a primary, like you said, it's a secondary medical device, not a primary device. But it's certainly worth the investment. Okay. Anyone else have a question related to our program tonight before?
And one more thing to that. On the smartwatches, there's also, depending on what you're looking for, there's an LTE version, which uses cellular data. So you actually don't have to have a smartphone tied to the Bluetooth. I went that route because I was a fall hazard. And if there was a chance that my phone was someplace and I was someplace else, I still had capability with the phone through the cellular network to call 911. Got the other, there was one other thing. Oh yeah. With the cellular data and LTE, with the fall protection, it'll automatically call one of your emergency contacts. So my poor wife, Debbie, would have got this call if I had taken a spill. But it was a good thing for me to have just for reassurance. You see those commercials where I've fallen and can't get up. You know, basically what they do is call 911. So I might as well have it with me all the time anyway.
Yeah, my husband, when I got him a smartwatch, I was going to get him a very simple smartwatch, kind of a, the old flip phone kind. Oh no, I don't want that. I want to have a really good camera and I want this and that and everything else. And I said, but you complain that all phones are too big. I said, what are you going to do about it? And he said, well, you're going to carry it. So yes, my husband has an LTE watch too. So that is his phone. The carriers for the cellular service for a watch, now you have to also have the phone, but the cellular service for the watch is only $10 a month compared to what you're paying for the phone service. So it's very, very economical, especially when you consider that if you have any other kind of service that has a call ahead and it goes to a professional service, you're paying anywhere from $100 to $300 or $400 a month. This is a one-time charge of, I think his was $450 or something because it was the LTE version. And so it's, and the LTE will burn the battery faster. So that's why his, he really has to put it on a charger sometime during the day if he wants to get through the night. But if on a Bluetooth, you might be able to get better battery life. And the rumor is that the battery life of those coming out this year are significantly larger, higher rated than the previous batteries in the watches. So everything's coming, is moving toward, well, everything's improving. So, and I would highly recommend it if you have any health issues. And speaking of AFib, my husband had AFib and he was really not doing too well. And he had a pacemaker put in 1 year, and almost to the day, a year later, he had the pacemaker taken out and a pacemaker defibrillator put in. So his heart rate was kept up and his heart rate was kept down. So he has it monitored in both directions. Okay. Any more questions? What Grover? Okay. Yeah, I think everybody else is too. Okay, let's move. Does anybody have any more questions before we move on to the goodies? Okay, let's see. We have red ticket. I have to put my glasses on so I can see. Didn't have to do that a couple of years ago. Last 3 digits, 091. All right, Carolyn. Carolyn, you got a gift card, and they're all Walmart cards tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, let's wait until the end and we'll, yeah, Carolyn Brox. Okay, and let's see. Okay, the next one will be the 50-50. No? We have three. I'm sorry, excuse me. You wanna, okay, and 116. Okay, hey, you're going home with a bunch of stuff tonight, Mary. Okay, I'm gonna have you pick the next one. I'm sorry, I can't go that far. Okay, oh, you took two of them, put one of them back. Here. Okay. Yeah, let's make sure she didn't put the wrong one back, right? Okay. 115. Is that Charlie? No? Okay, Gary. Okay, tonight after, whenever, wait until the very end and we'll get, pictures and everyone's names. That way things move along a little bit faster. And now we go to the blue ticket. And this is for the money. $22. 22. Okay. And the ticket is 032. Okay, Lydia. Okay. And now we have the computer over here. It's a really nice computer. There you go. 421. 421. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Double check.
Fixed.
Double check.
Okay, he's taking home the really nice computer over here, guys. Okay. Down. Down. Oop. That's okay. Well, we're basically done unless anybody has any more questions. Okay, our next meeting is July the 5th. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Nice job, everyone.
I think we